Cal Poly Pomona and every other campus in the California State University system will be facing budget cuts after California Governor Gavin Newsom announced funding reductions to the school system.
The estimated budget cut was announced during a CPP town hall meeting. It has been speculated that the budget cuts will be enacted due to multiple factors. Let's hear from our Poly Post reporter, Scotty Ninh.
Budget cuts are coming to all Cal State universities for 2025 to 2026. For CPP, these budget cuts are creating concerns for faculty and students across campus. Hi everyone, this is Scotty Ninh with Polypost. So, Governor Gavin Newsom's budget proposal includes a 7.95 funding reduction to the CSU system. To put that into perspective, that is a $375 million cut. According to the CPP budget town hall presentation, this cut was in response to a declining trend in total enrollment within the CSU. This, alongside the projected decline in both the youth population and California high school graduates, added to the decision to allocate less money to the CSU. Meanwhile, University of California and California Community College campuses are maintaining a steady rise in enrollment. For CPP, it's estimated that $18.3 million will be cut. The biggest concern behind this budget cut is the livelihoods of faculty. Of course, the budget cuts are going to directly affect faculty's income, something that has already been of concern with the continuous findings of funding deficiencies on campus.
Well, when you think about faculty livelihoods, one of the concerns, of course, is hiring, retaining new faculty, junior faculty, is particularly problematic given high housing costs, which are further compounded by higher interest rates these days. But also we have to remember that about half of all of the classes taught on our campus are actually being taught by adjunct faculty, lecturers who don't have the benefit of tenure or tenure track positions. They don't have any guarantee of full employment. And in most respects, it is those faculty that don't have that level of job security that are the most at risk. Some of them already have been losing work or losing jobs altogether. Some of them are only able to make ends meet by teaching part-time for multiple different campuses, so they're bouncing around, commuting back and forth. And so, first and foremost, among faculty's livelihoods, this hits those adjunct faculty. Decades ago, only a very small portion of classes on campuses like ours were being taught by adjunct faculty. Over the decades, that has risen and risen to the point that, as I say, they now teach about half of all of our classes. So that's a very vulnerable portion of the faculty body.
But the effects continue as some, if not many, lecturers are expected to have their workloads substantially increased. This is because with the budget cuts come the reopening of the voluntary separation incentive program that faculty can use, which you can read more about on our website. The program essentially allows faculty to voluntarily leave, which is a more practical option for some, and in some aspects can be beneficial to CPP funding as a whole. The problem is, the remaining faculty is going to have to make up for lost ground, or there will simply be fewer classes for certain courses. This puts the burden on faculty to put in more work with the same or even less resources, and students who may struggle to graduate just because there weren't enough classes being offered. A program like this hasn't been offered since 2020 with the response of the COVID-19 pandemic.
And think about it, what it means from a staff perspective. You know, suppose that your long-serving support coordinator for your department decides to take their early exit, and then you're left without a support coordinator in the office. Faculty need the assistance of the coordinator, students need the assistance of the coordinator, other staff need the assistance of the coordinator. And so now there's a gap in kind of the coverage of taking care of all these various things. And those gaps, we still have a number of them that persist from when they did an early exit program about 4 years ago.
Speaking of students, remember that decline in CSU enrollments? Well, CPP is actually one of the few campuses that is seeing an upward trend in enrollment. This would then further amplify the issue of faculty being given more work and students being unable to take required courses due to availability.
Gosh, you know, the administration is basically saying that we don't have enough funding from students. But the fact is CPP has enrolled their largest freshman class ever this past fall, and I expect that we will enroll even further, even more in future semesters. So what's happening is that they're increasing class sizes. So one of my classes, for instance, went up from 40 students to 50 students this past semester. And that's not only a 20% increase in workload, it's actually a less individualized environment for students in the classroom as well. I think that this is twofold. It obviously happens in the classroom, but I think it also happens outside of the classroom. So again, with these budget cuts, over the years, many lecturer faculty are let go. So what this means outside of the classroom is students don't have mentors that they can rely on for letters of recommendation, because the lecturer faculty are contingent, so they may not be available or even teaching at the university to write those letters of recommendation for the students. And again, I think increasing class sizes, faculty working conditions are student learning conditions, and when the faculty are overworked by, teaching 20% more for the same amount of pay, it's really going to affect the overall, ability of students to learn on campus. There's only so much lecturers can do to compensate for these increases.
That being said, the campus will fall back on its reserve. The reserve in question contains $97.5 million, which the town hall presentation claims to equate to 85 days of operation. According to the Assistant Vice President of Budgeting, Carol Lee, the reserve is meant to act as a part of short-term strategies to fill in gaps and buy time as the campus implements more lasting solutions such as permanent reductions, ultimately aiming to sustain a balance in the budget for the long term. There is a caveat though, in which a CSU policy prevents the reserve from dipping below a minimum of 5%, which is equivalent to 18 days of operation or $21.2 million. Currently, the reserve is being used to handle unavoidable costs such as utilities, as well as new initiatives such as tenure track hiring. So yes, the budget cuts are expected to affect CPP regardless. However, there is still a chance that this reserve can help mitigate some of the immediate impacts. The effects still are unfolding though, so what happens next is still up in the air. But that's going to be all from me, Broncos. Let us know what you thought of the budget cuts down in the comments, as we'd like to hear your opinion on a topic such as this. To stay updated on future coverage of stories, get subscribed and check out our website at thepolypost.com. Anyways, this has been Scotty Ninh with The Polypost. Thanks for watching.